minimize thumbnail. Play on projector. All right, guys. This shouldn't take too long, I don't think. Either way, even if we don't get through all of this reading, at the end, the last 5 minutes, I want to show you guys the 5, it might be 6 sentences that I will be picking from for your quiz tomorrow. So hopefully we blast through this, and you might even have some time to like review those sentences. Because at least one of them is like huge and hard, and I'm tempted to pick it, but I haven't made it yet. I'm gonna literally make it after this class. You guys will take that quiz tomorrow. We might talk about some Roman emperors, and then we'll play Jeopardy on Friday. Yeah, any questions about that? And then chapter 22 starting on Monday, and that's mostly just fifth declension. So chapter 22 is kind of a breather of a chapter, because like introducing a declension isn't like, that's not a horribly hard thing to do compared to chapter 23. Chapter 23 is like, that's a game changer. That's a real paradigm shift. We're gonna get these things called participles. It's gonna be a blast, but it'll be halfway through October before we get to that. So, yeah, Luke. May or may not. What does that mean? May. I mean, that's the only. Yeah, you should have done a little more, but I'll get you some credit. Okay, that's better than nothing. Way better than Caden.
What?
Just because you're 1.75/2.25 doesn't mean you don't have to do your homework.
It was so
it's
confusing.
1.96.
Holy crap.
1.96.
Yeah, it's 1.96.
Is that what's actually between? Okay.
That's what I figured out, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. I believe you. It sounds believable.
It was confusing.
All right. Are we good? Oh yeah. Okay. Here they are. You should have the orange and the black down so that the green doesn't blow your mind on Monday. I really think fourth declension is by far the easiest declension. Maybe like tied with first, I guess. First has some weird things going on. There is a similarity between first and fourth, in that the genitive singular is repeated in the dative also, which is like, that doesn't really happen with, well, it happens with fifth too. Look at that. So first, fourth, and fifth all do that weird thing, which we're not really used to. Also with fourth, there is a overlap with the nominative plural, and it starts to look crazy, but it also overlaps with the accusative plural. Those shapes definitely help. And then the genitives are pretty easy. Those are kind of similar. You just add a U for genitive plural. What else? The accusatives are awesomely easy. The ablative singulars are awesomely easy. Super easy stuff, right? And then we all know the ibises now, right? Ibises, sandwich, accusatives. Okay. So that you should be getting pretty close to that. And then we'll do this. Let's see. We can still do this tomorrow. There's enough time to do this and still take the quiz. Tomorrow, I want you to focus on fourth declension and these. These are actually probably more important at this point than like making sure you know third and fourth. I want you to be able to just like rattle off the perfect active endings. E is the it, emis istis erunt, and the present passive ristor, more, mini, intor. And perfect active, the light blue ones, these two are the only ones that we don't like. They're like almost not helpful. You kind of need to know what the third principal part of a verb is for if it's third singular or first plural, because like these could also be present tense endings of a third or fourth conjugation verb. But then the other ones, erunt, istis, isti, and long I, those are very distinct. So you wouldn't even need to know what the third principal part of a verb looks like. If you see endings like this, or this, you're just like, oh, perfect active. That's perfect. That's a loud snap. And then present passive. What's the common letter for most of the present passives? Anyone? Yeah, R. To the extent that the first person singular one is literally just R. You're adding R to like what it would normally be in first person singular active. Instead of loudo, it'd be loudor. Not I praise, but I am praise. You're just adding the R, making it passive. And then it's still ending in S like we want it to, but it's RIS. There's still a T, like we expect in third person, there's TUR. That one's pretty distinct. Instead of NUS, it's MUR. This one's just so weird that you should always think second plural passive. And then this one has the NT, but it's still ending in R. So it's just like the plural version of the singular version. Okay. We can read this while I erase that. Anyone? Bailey, thank you. Oh, well, yeah, you can stop there, sorry. Yeah, no, Kaitos Magna Atque Noah Incipit. Like I said, this is basically like an alternate adaptation of the same passage we translated yesterday, so there's some similarities. What did you get for this first sentence, Bailey? Yes, will. Well, let's see. Actually, in Kip, it should just be present tense. So it's just like begins, actually. So it's yeah, just present tense. Akwe can just be and. It can be and also or and even. Um, now a great and also new. Okay, so I'm taking it as like linking the two adjectives here, Magna and Nova. I guess this was from a period where I was like underlining the subject. So ITOS is a subject. It's kind of worth knowing. Maybe I should do that because otherwise subjects are just like I don't color code them, which is kind of weird to me. I like that.
You should make subjects.
Oh well, so okay. There's something that my ninth graders just got in chapter 24 that I'm doing as purple, which I had to import a purple color because like the palette did not have a good purple. It was just maroon. But yeah, I'm doing. It's called a ablative absolute. You guys are gonna get it in chapter 24.
Like a mustard yellow.
Mustard yellow. We could use another yellow. We don't have any yellows, and I wouldn't want to use a straight up yellow because that might be illegible.
Too bright.
Yeah, like a
Like
darker.
that kind of yellow.
Yeah, there is a goldenrod, which I'm not a huge fan of goldenrod. It's a little darker than your shirt.
I got this. I definitely didn't just do the last two sentences. Definitely not.
So it just took you 10 minutes to find it,
No, I didn't do the last two. So I didn't.
but you didn't have to do the last two.
No,
So
the last two of like the stuff inside.
oh, okay. Well, I appreciate the honesty, I suppose.
It wasn't right on it, but
No, you'll get credit for that. Okay. Good. Now, puer nascitur ac gains aurea venit. Who wants to translate that? Bailey? Golden boy will also come to what? The clan. Okay, you're kind of leaving out the glossed word for us. They had to gloss this word for us. We get words like nascent, which means like new or like newly created or born, nascent from that in English. So you're kind of like mix. This is basically two sentences. Remember, Bailey, ak is really just our new et. It basically is just et. It's kind of like akwe as well, and then it's like and also sort of. It's like a kind of a deluxe conjunction. But you can really just treat it as and. So we kind of have two different parts of the sentence. And even though we've never seen this verb before, what voice is it, Chloe? Is it active or passive? Yeah, it's passive. It has that third person singular passive in there. Not up right now. Maybe I'll have them. I don't know. But yeah, how does CUR? And so what does this mean? Puer nascitur. What is that, Chloe, or really anybody? Yeah, the boy is born. So this is a verb. I think it's like always kind of passive, this verb. It's like from nascor. Some verbs are called deponent. They're like always passive kind of. So the boy is born. It's not like the boy actively borns something. He is born passively. It happens to him. Okay. And then golden, Bailey, gets applied to gains. For one thing, it's right next to gains. And apparently, I guess gains must be feminine. Because aria has that feminine ending. So I wouldn't know that without looking it up, but it must be feminine, that third declension word. So a golden age comes. And this, let's see. In y'all's version, does the E have a macron, perchance, on Wayne it? It does? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it's present tense. If I had a macron, it'd be like came. But yeah, I think we're just kind of talking present tense right now. All right, that was pretty easy. Who can read the first part of this? First sentence here, Cora, I think.
Mundus gravi metu liberabitur.
Very good. Cora, what voice is liberabitur, active or passive?
Passive.
Yeah, we've already seen this third person singular passive ending in a quick succession of sentences already. Lucy, what tense is it? The present passive, future passive, or imperfect? Yeah, good. Yeah, because the bi. So libera, liberare is just going to first conjugation. So it's nice enough to get those like bi basically for the most part. Endings added when it's future tense. It's not tricky like third and fourth where it's just getting like a long e. So what would mundus gravi metu liberabitur be, Parker?
the world will be free from grave fears.
Yeah, the world will be freed from grave fear. Good. Let's see. Well, okay. Gravi metu is ablative separation, as I'm already saying. Yeah, so there is something to that. You need to be able to recognize that. You should expect it with a verb like libero, to free, prohibeo, to prohibit, or careo, to lack. You should be expecting this alveolar separation, because like where else did Parker know to get the from, other than he just like is expecting that with libero, liberare? Because yeah, that from is just coming out of the fact we understand the context of an ablative of separation. Any questions on that one? Pretty easy, right? Mundus is the subject. Got a third person singular, future passive verb. Should hopefully be actually pretty easy to spot this one as future passive. Okay, I didn't skip one, did I? Okay, who can read this one? This is kind of, again, it's like this is a tweaked version of something we did in class yesterday. Keaton?
Ele puer diorum vitam intiet vitaque vidient et ipse vidientur ab Elias.
Good. Let's see. What do you think for at least the first part of this, up until with day bit? Why'd you put your stuff away, Keith? Should be checking it as we go. Do y'all have a Kipio? Oh, it means to receive. Okay, I think y'all get that in like a chapter or two.
The great lifetime of the boy.
Great lifetime. I wonder where you're getting that. What's the subject, Caden?
It's one of them.
You said Illa?
No, it's one of them.
It's one of the words. Yeah, you're right. It is one of the Carly. Yeah, it's Fuller. Is anything going with Fuller? Yeah, so it's not just the boy, it's that boy, right? That's a subject. Those are nominative, so that's easy mode if we're getting our subjects right off the bat like that. Deorum is what case? What case is deorum adding? That would be deum or deos. This is deorum. Yeah, genitive. Good. And now it's kind of hard to tell. We don't really know if it's possessive of this or the noun to its right. Because like, what was that boy of the gods? That sounds kind of weird. I'm not sure what that would be about. So let's see. Vitam is what case, Candy? So that's the direct object. Okay, and then oh look, there's another direct object too. But that's getting another verb, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So that boy accepts or receives rather the life of the gods. It looks like deorum is possessive of vitam. We got to do the whole thing because I'm still not staggering my slides correctly. And he will see the gods. That part's from yesterday. We saw that yesterday. He will like see the gods as in like know the gods and like commune with them or something. And then how do we take ipse? Anyone who remembers that from yesterday, Parker?
Like himself.
Yeah, and you can add a he if you want. You can say he himself, even though there is no there is a Latin word for he. It's is, but we don't even need that. It's just he himself. We're intensifying the he that is that boy. He himself. Oh, with debitur. That is what voice, Keaton, is that active or passive? No, that'd be with a bits. Huh?
Passive.
Yeah, it's passive. Now we've seen 3 third-person singular passive. This one is another future passive, so he will be seen by those gods. Okay. Again, this is basically what we did in class yesterday, which is kind of tweaked a little bit. Like we didn't have a Kipio in the version yesterday. I don't know. I guess maybe I should have had y'all translate all the others since you guys yesterday or something. But I don't know. This way, it's like we're getting the same lessons twice, and that's actually a good way to learn, honestly. All right, and this is where I had a typo. It wasn't rimet, it was reget, from rego, regera, to rule. And it's also, what tense is reget, rego, regera? Anyone? What tense is that? If it's third conjugation, does that E mean present or future tense? Carly? No, it's future. This is remember third and fourth conjugation, they don't get the bogus bit, they get the H X, Amos H is int for future. Annoying, but regit, R-E-G-I-T would actually be present. But yeah, y'all would have been able to tell that if you didn't hear me make that correction in the essay yesterday. So mundum, though. What case is mundum, Luke? What case is mundum? Yeah, it's accusative. So it's not the subject of reget. The subject is still probably that boy. So he will rule the world. Antiquus where tutibus? How should we take that? You will rule the world. Bailey? Good. You're using with because this is an ablative of means. Yeah, exactly. Very good. He will rule the world with ancient virtues. And then, okay, this next sentence is weird. I don't like this one. Okay, they tell us simel means usually it means at the same time, but in this case, since it's next to atque, it'll be as soon as. So as soon as something about praises or merit, laus laudis is the third declension word that means praise or merit. And deeds, something about deeds. What case is parentis, anyone? Cora, what case is parent? If it's from parens, parentis. Third declension, then parentis is the Lucy? It'd be genitive. So, and this is a lesson I was teaching my 1.5 kids yesterday, is that like a lot of people forget when I say a noun dictionary entry, like from parens, parentis. That second thing I'm saying is the genitive. So, Cora, if you had heard me say like it's from parens, parentis, and I'm like, what is parentis? That would be the genitive. Like that's what it has to be if it's from a word whose dictionary entry is parens, parentis. Yep, third declension genitive. So then are the deeds of the parents. And then, okay, so I see legera, that's an infinitive. At where tutum, what cases were tutum, anyone out loud? Yeah, so like, it's like a second direct, like, we're not sure if these are direct objects yet or subjects, but this one's definitely a direct object. No, they're complementary infinitive. And then, okay, here's my actual conjugated verb. So, what do y'all think the subject of poterit is? Anyone? Probably still that boy. So something about like what is simel atque? They tell us as soon as. So as soon as he will be able to, and this is where it gets weird to me, like select the merits and the deeds of the parents, and know virtue, then something will happen. So let's just look at that part because obviously there's going to be like a result to that. As soon as he'll be able to choose the praise and deeds of his parents. Anybody want to guess what this means?
No.
Because Lego Legera is kind of open-ended. Lego, it's often read, but sometimes it's more like choose or select. I was actually like looking at different dictionary entries for Lego Legera to try to figure out like what were they trying to say here? Maybe they mean like the boy has to grow up enough to like choose for himself the same kind of merits and deeds that his parents were capable of. I think merits is a little better than praises. I don't know if praises is even grammatically correct. But Lego Legera, to gather, collect, pick out, choose, read. Gather? Maybe gather. Maybe that's it. Yeah, okay. Okay. I actually like that. It's still a little weird sounding. As soon as he'll be able to gather, yeah. That's way better. Why didn't I go with that? Gather the merits and deeds of his parents. Whoever his parents are. And parens parentis, let's see. They gloss that for y'all, right? Parens parentis. It's parent. But it's like singular parent. So it's just one parent? I mean, that actually does almost sound like the Judeo-Christian Messiah. Because like he's like mostly just like the Son of God, and like Mary is like his like earthly parent, but they're almost like separate. But this isn't Sunday school stuff, and I'm not a Sunday school teacher, so I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, okay, merits and deeds of his parent, the single parent, maybe. What will happen? Something about what's the subject of the second part of the sentence? This gets more clear cut. What's the subject of the second part of this sentence? Any guesses? There's some noun phrases that it's kind of hard to tell that they actually go together, that they're part of the same noun phrase. It's weird. Kind of, but it's not that weird. Anyone? Harder? It is just augury. What goes with augury? DAT. Good. And then let's see. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, they're the same things. That's actually not weird at all. So what kind of fields? Anyone? No one remembers what BHS means. Bailey? Yeah. Say it again. Fields of beautiful and sweet fruit. So you kind of thought these were genitive. I don't think these are quite genitive. This one could be genitive, but next to dulces, I'm thinking it's not. But yeah, BHS means what, Lucy? Happy fields. That is something an old-timey person from 2,000 years ago would say. They would use the word happy to describe fields, but maybe blessed fields is better. So blessed fields, something about sweet fruits. Dulces, fructus go together. But the reason I know that fructus, because it is fourth declension, like by itself, outside of the sentence, it could be genitive Bailey. But when it's right next to dulces, dulces is our third declension, accusative plural or nominative plural. So that just makes me think like, oh, okay, so that's what fructus is too. It's sweet fruits as a direct object. And then omnibus hominibus is this dative of purpose that we saw yesterday that we're not used to. It's like 4 plus the dative, all men or whatever. So the blessed fields will prepare sweet fruits for all men. Very Garden of Eden-esque. And that is dative of purpose. My label is loudly proclaiming. All right, good. Any questions on that one? So we fixed what was weird about this one. This one's not that weird. Once the kid, once he accumulates some of those good deeds that his parent, like, is it Zeus? Is it the Jewish god? Who knows? Who knows what Virgil's talking about here? The guy's, he's a crazy poet. All right, who can read this one? All right, Ruminabunt, Tomen, Palca, Vitia, Quae Homines, Temptare, Mare, Navibus, comma, Quae Homines, Kingra, Urbes, Morris, EU, Babunt. So we're starting off with a verb, which is weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. What's the subject of this verb? Keaton? What was your instinct? You were so sure for a second, and then you weren't. No? Bailey? Say it again? Homines. So homines could be a subject. It could. It could also be a third declension direct object. So let's see. But that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. So it's not the subject. If it is a subject, it's at least not the subject of ruminate. Cora? I mean, Lucy? Yeah, these are Calcolidia. So this happens. This even happens for my year 1 kids. One of their first stories, the story about Python wanting to fly the chariot of Apollo, and he like dies. They have a lot of sentences in that one where the subject is after the verb, like the last word in the sentence. So that's actually pretty difficult. Palcavitia, like what else could it be? It's a neuter nominative plural. So few vices, however, will remain. Future tense. We kind of saw this yesterday. Then quae, what begins with quae? What grammatical construction starts off with quae? Yeah, and so it's going to go from quae until we find a verb. I see an infinitive, but that's usually not. Wait. Oh yeah, okay. This one's weird because like the whole rest of the sentence is like a big old extended relative clause. They're going to tell us about these vices, I think. Yeah. So vices which quae, and then now homines. Do you still think homines is a subject, Bailey, of this relative clause? You do? I think here's where we realize that it's actually a DO. Remember that ES in third declension, that's either nominative or accusative plural. So here I think it's DO. Why do I think that? Because I think quae is actually going to be the subject of the relative clause. That's not always the case, but sometimes between quae quad, if it's in the nominative, it will just be the subject of its relative clause. Relative clauses have like clean grammatical slates where we kind of get a reset button hit. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. And so it's like, it's the antecedent of quae is going to be vitia, but it's going to be the subject of its relative clause. So invidia was the subject of the main clause too. So few vices will remain which, let's keep moving because we can't do anything with any of these. We need like a verb. We need a conjugated verb, right? Not temptare. That's a, something about mare navibus. And then like, it's like a second relative clause. We don't usually see this, but it's kind of just like echoing the first one. Homines is that another direct object. Kingra, that's another infinitive. What the heck? Urbes, mirrors. Okay. Oh, here we go. That's the actual verb of the relative clause. So, all right. I'm just realizing, computer kids, I'm writing shoot. And then I just unplugged the projector. I'm writing a lot on the board right now. So I should probably do something about that. One second. I think I have to restart the projector thing. Is anybody doing anything cool this weekend? Kind of early to think about the weekend on a Wednesday. We're almost there. Oh, what, Cora?
I'm just saying, you should yell at the computer kid and say like, if you don't get a bad
But
Uh,
they don't even.
Yeah, Cora says that y'all need to join the Zoom or else I'm gonna give you a bad grade. Which who knows? Maybe that could be true. And again, I don't want to say names, but it is really. I think it's just
Hayden.
yeah, Hayden, and I think Jackie too. I think that's it because the other kids they're actually in class. They're in another class. What, Lucy?
Found out that like a whole bunch of my family members who live in Utah actually had COVID.
Oh,
So like,
yikes. Well, that's always. Well, are they okay?
yeah, they're fine. It's just weird because they all got it within a week of each other.
Oh.
So,
Are any of them like old or immune
well, my
compromised?
two grandparents have it. My other grandma who lives in Idaho has it. They're fine. Like it's not
Okay.
bothering them at all.
Okay. Well, it's good. It's not bothering them. Yeah, it's weird. It's like most people. It is either just a cold or it's like nothing, and then it's just like somehow some people it's not like that. But yeah, computer kids. I'm like writing a lot of stuff here because this sentence is weird. There's relative clauses. I mean, I probably do. Nope, I don't want to do that yet. Kaden, we're gonna say something.
No.
Okay. So okay, a few vices which. And then we go all the way down here to get this new verb that we've been seeing a lot, will command. And remember, command takes a direct object and a complementary infinitive. So let's go back to our first direct object, which will command men to tempt the sea. So Mari is actually a direct object of homones with ships. That's a adjective of means. And so now I'll just color code it. And yeah. With ships, and it'll also, what else will it do? It'll command men to circle their cities with walls. So this is kind of grammatically dense. This is denser, grammatically speaking, than anything we saw in the version of this yesterday. Because yeah, it's just like a very complicated relative clause. We have like scarcely seen a relative clause this kind of involved. Yeah. What does it mean to tempt the sea? Does anybody know? Oh, test. Okay, the book must gloss that for test. That's better. They will test the seas by ships, with ships. And my color coding isn't perfect here. Test the seas direct object. We have like a bunch of direct objects. It's almost like weird how many direct objects we have. Because let's think about this. We have so like initially Quai takes the verb iubebunt, and that takes like one direct object. But then it also takes a complementary infinitive, and that complementary infinitive takes a second direct object, mare, tempts the direct object men to tempt or test the direct object sea with ships, and it'll test men, which is like our third direct object, to circle the direct object cities with walls. So we have 4 direct objects in this relative clause. 2 of them are technically the same, and the other 2 are objects of complementary infinitives, which are underlined here, and then ablative means, Maurice and Navibus. Those are ablatives of means. Okay, I remember mare. It always takes me a second to remember that mare here is just nominative or accusative. It's a weird neuter third declension noun. So that is just accusative there. Okay, well, we got like one more. We might not get through all this, but who can read this one? This is very similar to one we did yesterday. No? Okay. Ubi autem hunc puerum virum feceret fortis aetas maria reliquitur vectoribus nec nautai pecuniae causa merces mutaba. There is one thing I really want us to kind of like review in this sentence. Bailey, do you want to translate this? Oh, it's the one after?
2 sentences.
Oh, it's 2? So y'all didn't even do this last one? Dang it. Okay. Well, that's okay. This one is so similar to the last one. I'll just kind of like skip through a little bit. When, however, this strong age, it was long age in the version we did yesterday, will have made this boy a man, kind of dual direct object we have there, make this boy a man, 2 direct objects. The seas will be left behind. This is passive, future passive, because relinquo, relinquera must be third conjugation, so that E tells us this is future, will be left behind by merchants or seafarers, is a vectoribus, nor, and this is very an old-timey way of speaking, using nor like this, nor the seas will be sailors will not be changed or bothered by let's see, how did I do this? Will exchange goods. Oh, Muta Mutari is to exchange. They will not exchange goods, merques, for the sake of money. Okay, this is the part I actually want y'all to see. Remember when Cal says in the ablative, it's for the sake of plus a genitive. So the genitive in question is pecuniae. So for the sake of money. Oh, sailors exchange? Is that how they gloss that word? I gotta check that real quick. Muto. Where is it? I don't even see this word glossed. Okay. Oh well. Mutabant. I thought that meant to change. But they mean, okay. Exchange. I guess exchange is kind of like change. It must just be like in the context of when like goods is the object, it's going to be exchange. That's weird. Okay. Great story. They're going to get really good pretty soon. The stories after like chapter 23 get really juicy. Let's review the verbs that are going to show up on the quiz. So yeah, this is the first one. Who can spot translate this off the top of their head? Anybody? I might pick this one. I'm not sure. I haven't made it yet. Okay. So let's do the speed translating. His spirit or soul. More like had not able is maybe a little better because this is actually clue perfect. Had not been able, not to actively touch, but to be passively touched by or the desire of fruit is okay, like figurative fruit, not literal, but profit is a little better. Yeah. Not able to be touched. I did do was not. I mean, had not sounds really weird, but that is what it literally is. Had not been able. So make sure you take note of that. Y'all should all have this. If you don't have it, you should be like writing them down like furiously right now because this is the test tomorrow. Lucy? Yes, had not able. Thank you. Not been able to be touched by money. Okay, let's do this one. Love of the fatherland. Yeah, was sensed. Yeah, like in every or all spirits. I think every spirit is better because that way we're acknowledging that this is technically singular, so all spirits would be a little weird actually. So it's in every spirit. That is an ablative. No, I wouldn't ask about that ablative. Mostly I'd be asking about these verbs. So I'd be asking the voice of this verb. You would tell me it's passive. Just like if I ask the voice of this verb, you would say it's passive. And that one would be tricky. So if I did pick this one, I would ask about this. I probably wouldn't want you to tell me it's a passive infinitive, but I would need you to tell me it's passive. So 4 more. Let's see. Okay. I like this one. Wink, wink. Something about to be found, but what tense is it? Tense. So it is passive. What tense? That E. No, it's in, yeah, it's future because it's in winio and venire, fourth conjugation, so that E alone is making this future. So it's wisdom and truth will be found. So if I underline this one, I would ask for the, not the person and number probably, but the voice and the tense. And so you tell me passive future will be found, or yeah, will be found in, will not be found, thank you, will not be found, and it's certain truth, certain truth, wisdom and certain truth will not be found in foolish men. That part's easy, yeah, in foolish men. Careful about that being future. All right, vertus etiam multa pecunia non peratur. This one seems a little too small to pick, honestly. This is something like what? Virtue. This is just present passive. So just is not prepared by much money. And we would have wanted etiam to come into play before that. It was like not even prepared by much money. I'm not gonna pick this one. I don't like it. I'll pick this one. Right? Should I pick this one?
No. Please no.
I don't know. Isn't there an even worse one after this one? So, whoa. Okay. So the spirit, what? The spirit genitive of the which wrote, yeah, or these songs actually. And our main verb is imperfect was often by the good, kind of, for like the few of you who are actually doing this. Yeah. The spirit of the author which wrote these songs was often verbed by immortal gods and goddesses. Last one. So I already told y'all one I'm definitely going to pick. Let's see. I mean, this one's honestly fine. This one's not bad at all. I would ask about the voice intense of this. It's imperfect passive. Remember, this is just by immortal gods and goddesses. It's not as complicated as it looks. This part is a little complicated. The spirit of the author who wrote these songs. Even that's not too bad. And I would maybe ask the case of Carmina, because I want you to remember that it's accusative plural, because that's a little hard. No, I'm sorry, accusative singular. Oh, it is singular. No, it's plural. It's plural. It's because it's from Carmen Carminus. So Carmina is a noun of accusative plural. Let's see, this one. Did y'all do this one? All right, I won't pick this one. No, yeah, I don't like this one. This one's honestly a little too complicated. When he was freed from the harsh penalties by a judge of the king, he fell on his right knee and gave thanks to him. I will not pick this one, so y'all should thank me for that. Y'all can review those or copy your friend's translations or something in the meantime. But that is that. All right. Before the bell rings, make sure to return the dice and status upgrades to my desk. Thank you.